the one that they call the voice of the wind. The oracle, shrouded in swirling white robes, spoke in a voice that rustled like dry leaves.
The cure lies within the egg of life, guarded by the dragon of doom in the forbidden mountains.
Adanna's sacrifice, the journey to the dragon kingdom. Adanna, with her fiery spirit and emerald eyes, was the sunbeam of Ikenga village. At 22, she was a master weaver. Her vibrant tapestries depicting stories whispered through generations. Laughter trailed her like sunlight, and every creature, from the skittish rabbits to the wise old baobab tree, seemed to hold a special fondness for her. However, a shadow fell upon Ikenga. A creeping illness, swift and merciless, began snatching lives. Children who played in the morning were pale and breathless by dusk. Fear, a venomous serpent, coiled around the hearts of the villagers. 3 moons passed, each day producing a lament for the lost souls. Finally, the village elders, their faces etched with worry, approached the kingdom's oracle, the one that they call the voice of the wind. The oracle, shrouded in swirling white robes, spoke in a voice that rustled like dry leaves.
The cure lies within the egg of life, guarded by the dragon of doom in the forbidden mountains.
A collective gasp filled the air. The forbidden mountain was a treacherous labyrinth of treacherous cliffs and mythical beasts. The dragon of doom, a monstrous creature shrouded in fearsome legend, was a fearsome guardian. Yet, a flicker of hope ignited in Adanna's heart. "I will go," she declared, her voice unwavering. The villagers erupted in murmurs. Adanna, their beloved Adanna, on this perilous quest. But then, 2 young women, Amina and Ineka, stepped forward, their eyes mirroring Adanna's resolve. According to the ancient prophecy, only virgins could climb the sacred mountain. Their journey was a laborious tapestry of hardship and tribulations. They faced treacherous paths, men with hearts as black as the nights who sought their belongings, and monstrous hyenas with eyes that glowed like embers. Amina fell victim to a poisonous vine, her laughter silenced forever. Ineka, weakened by grief, succumbed to the harsh elements. Adanna, her heart heavy with loss, pressed on. The air grew thin and cold, carrying the faint scent of sulfur. Finally, she reached the summit of a desolate plateau shrouded in mist. There, nestled in a craggy crevice, lay an entrance, a massive winding cave that led to the dragon's lair. Adanna climbed with whatever energy she had left and navigated the winding cave, her heart pounding like it was about to break free from her ribcage. After a few minutes, she finally came face to face with the dragon's lair. Adrenaline surged through Adanna as a monstrous silhouette emerged from the mist. The dragon of doom, its scales the color of twilight, pulsed with an unnatural heat. Its eyes, molten gold, held a terrifying glint. Before Adanna could react, the dragon launched with a deafening roar. A desperate battle ensued. Adanna, nimble and quick, dodged fire-laced breaths and swipes of razor-sharp claws. She used her agility, the very skills honed from years of weaving, to her advantage. With a swift movement, she landed a glancing blow on the dragon's leg, using a massive log she picked up while fighting the dragon. The impact of the log drew a pained roar. The dragon, momentarily stunned, spoke in a voice that rumbled like an avalanche.
"You dare trespass within my domain, mortal."
Adanna, breathless but resolute, explained her village's plight, the devastating illness and their desperate need for the egg of life. The dragon listened, its eyes filled with a flicker of sorrow.
No egg of life exists here.
The dragon rumbled.
The illness that plagues your people originates from this very mountain. My children, stolen by greedy men from your kingdom, were used in vile experiments. The disease, a byproduct of their cruelty, now clings to the mountain itself.
A cold dread gripped Adanna. The prophecy, the villagers' hope, all a lie? Then she noticed scars upon the dragon's side, a mother's grief etched in scales and fire. Tears filled Adanna's eyes. "I'm so sorry for your loss," she choked out. "But can you help us then? Your skills, legend says, possess healing power." The dragon studied her with an intensity that burned into Adanna's soul.
I can,
It conceded, the voice heavy.
but the price is steep.
Adanna's heart pounded. "Anything," she whispered. The dragon's voice was cold, filled with an ancient grief.
You shall become my child. Live within these mountains forever. Only then will I grant you the skills you seek.
The weight of the choice threatened to crush Adanna. Return a savior, but live a solitary life away from everything she loved, or refuse and condemn her entire village. Looking upon the desolate landscape, Adanna pictured the warmth of Ikenga, the laughter of children, the feel of her grandmother's wrinkled hands in hers. Tears streamed down her face, a silent river of grief and love. "I accept," she said, her voice firm despite the tremor in her soul. The dragon lowered its head, a hint of respect flickering in its molten eyes. With a single powerful blow, it ripped the shimmering scale from its side. The scale pulsed with a soft emerald light.
This scale
The dragon rumbled.
carries the essence of healing. Crumble it into the purest spring water, and it will hold enough power to cleanse your village of the illness.
Adanna clutched the scale tightly, a bittersweet weight in her palm. The dragon watched her with an unreadable expression.
There is more.
The dragon continued, its voice softer now.
The stolen eggs. They lie within the caverns beneath this mountain, corrupted by the experiments. They will never hatch, but their essence can be used to cleanse this land permanently.
Adanna's hope flickered. Could she not only save her village, but also free the dragon's children from their horrific fates? "Can I help you retrieve them?" she asked, her voice filled with newfound determination. The dragon studied her for a long moment, then let out a low growl.
The caverns are treacherous, filled with guardians forged from the very malice that binds my children. But you, with your hearts of courage and the skill you used against me, may have a chance.
Thus began Adanna's second, even more perilous journey. Guided by the dragon's cryptic instructions, she navigated the winding caverns. She faced monstrous creatures of shadow and flame, each one a manifestation of the dark magic used to imprison the eggs. With her agility honed from years of weaving, she evaded venomous claws and searing fire. With a newfound fire in her spirit, a burning desire to honor the dragon's trust, she outwitted each guardian. Finally, she reached a cavern pulsating with a sickly green light. In the center lay a nest, not of straw but of twisted metal and pulsating crystals. Inside, 5 black clouded eggs lay inactive, devoid of the vibrant colors that marked true dragon eggs. Adanna felt a surge of sorrow, yet she knew there was still hope. With trembling hands, she gathered the eggs, the weight of the dragon's grief pressing on her heart. The journey back was arduous, each step fueled by the thoughts of the faces she longed to see again. Upon returning to the dragon, Adanna presented the eggs. The dragon's eyes burned with an intensity that seemed to pierce Adanna's very soul. It inhaled deeply, its nostrils flaring.
You have done well, my child.
It rumbled, a hint of pride in its voice.
The essence within these eggs, though corrupted, can still be used for purification.
With a powerful exhale, the dragon breathed onto the eggs. The sickly green light began to recede, replaced by soft, cleansing white aura that pulsed within the shells.
Take this,
the dragon instructed, nudging the purified eggs towards Adanna.
Crush them within the four corners of your village. The land shall be cleansed, and the illness banished.
Adanna nodded. Tears welled up in her eyes. She had not only saved her village, but also offered the dragon a silver of solace. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for everything." The dragon inclined its head in a gesture that could be interpreted as a nod or a farewell. As Adanna descended the mountain, its silhouette became a solitary figure against the setting sun, a monument to grief and resilience. The journey back to Ikenga felt different. Adanna wasn't just returning as a savior, but as someone forever changed. The weight of her sacrifice, the echo of the dragon's grief, became a part of her. Upon reaching the village, she was met with cheers and tears of relief. She followed the dragon's instructions, crushing the purified eggs at the four corners of the village. A wave of cleansing energy washed over Ikenga, driving away the illness and leaving behind a renewed sense of life. Adanna and the two other girls who died on the journey to the Mountain of Doom became a legend. The village prospered, forever grateful for your sacrifice. Yet, beneath the surface, a quiet yearning resided within Adanna. The desolate peak of the Mountain of Doom, the echo of the dragon's sorrowful roar. These formed a constant reminder of the price paid for peace. Years passed, filled with laughter and the joy of life renewed. One night, under a sky ablaze with stars, Adanna felt a familiar tug in her heart, a whisper on the wind, a yearning in her soul. Looking towards the distant mountain, she knew her sacrifice wasn't over. With a heavy heart but a resolute spirit, Adanna left a note for the villagers, explaining her calling. She ventured back to the Mountain of Doom, not as a savior, but as a daughter returning home, ready to face whatever awaited her within the dragon's lonely lair. As Adanna ascended the treacherous path towards the Mountain of Doom, a storm raged within her. The cheers and gratitude of her village echoed in her memory, a stark contrast to the desolate landscape before her. This wasn't a triumphant return, it was a pilgrimage into the unknown. The air grew thin and cold, carrying the faint scent of sulfur. Reaching the summit, she found the entrance to the dragon's lair unchanged, a gaping hole in the craggy rock face. Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside. The cavern was shrouded in darkness. The only light emanating was from cracks in the ceiling. The silence was heavy, broken only by the dripping of water and the hammering of her own heart. A deep, sorrowful sigh echoed through the cavern, sending shivers down her spine.
You've returned, child.
The dragons rumbled, filled with a mix of surprise and a hint of something akin to hope. Adanna strained to see the dragon's silhouette in the gloom. "Yes," she said, her voice barely a whisper. Shame called around her heart. I couldn't stay away." The dragon emerged from the shadows, its scales glinting faintly in the dim light. Adanna saw not a monstrous creature, but a being burdened by immense grief. Its eyes, molten gold, held the flicker of something she couldn't quite decipher.
Why?
The dragon asked, its voice low.
Why return to this desolate place, to a creature consumed by loss?
Adanna took a step forward, her voice trembling slightly. Because, she began. Your pain, it resonated with me. My village is safe, thanks to you. But a part of me feels incomplete. Here, with you. She hesitated, searching for the right words. Here, I feel a strange sense of belonging. Perhaps because of the sacrifice we both made. The dragon studied her slightly for a long moment. Then a low rumble escaped his throat. A sound that could have been interpreted as a chuckle or a sigh.
A strange kinship indeed.
It rumbled.
A mortal weaver and a dragon bound by loss and shared sacrifice.
Adanna felt a flicker of warmth amidst the cold. Perhaps there was a place for her here. Not just as a daughter fulfilling a duty, but as a companion, someone who understood the dragon's sorrow. Perhaps, she said softly, we can find solace in each other's company. Perhaps together, we can heal. The dragon lowered its head, its eyes gleaming with an emotion Adanna couldn't quite grasp. In that moment, under the desolate peak of the mountain of doom, a bond unlike any other began to form. It wasn't a bond of master and servant, but of two souls forever marked by sacrifice, finding solace in a shared experience of loss and a tentative hope for a future together. If you have enjoyed the story so far, remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel. This goes a long way in helping us bring you more beautiful stories like this one. Thank you. Everything was going well for Adanna in the Dragon Kingdom until one very cold night when the trees swayed in low shimmers and the stars worked overtime. Then came the attack. It began subtly. A tremor in the air, a shadow cast in the wrong direction. Tension crackled through the normal vibrant halls of the Dragon Kingdom. Adanna's Sacrifice, The Journey to the Dragon Kingdom, Part 2. The Dragon Kingdom was much larger than Adanna once anticipated. While she thought she was going to be living with a dragon in a desolate cave with no one else to keep her company, the reality of her situation proved otherwise. The Dragon Kingdom was like an entire world separated from Ikenga by a veil she could neither explain nor fathom. She quickly came to realize that there were more dragons than she once thought there were. Adanna reveled in the wonder of the Dragon Kingdom. The air shimmered with magic, the ground vibrated with the life force of these colossal creatures, and the shimmering scales of hundreds of dragons flashed in the sunlight. Every day was a learning experience, a revelation of the immense power and ancient wisdom that resided within these magnificent beings. Yet, even amidst the awe, a silver of unease gnawed at Adanna. News traveled slower than dragons, but stories, especially dark ones, had a way of crossing even dimensional borders. Whispers, faint at first, began to seep into the Dragon Kingdom from her home village of Ikenga. They spoke of unease, of resentment brewing amongst those who felt slighted by Adanna's disappearance. The prosperity the purified eggs brought was undeniable. Houses were being repaired, new crops were thriving, and the constant threats of starvation had receded. However, this prosperity had come at a cost. Adanna, their once beloved village girl, was gone. Malachi, a sorcerer with a gaze as dark as the moonless night, and a hunger for power that surpassed any dragon, saw his opportunity. He had long observed the village of Ikenga, its resilience in the face of hardship, its unwavering faith in their young heroine. He saw the seeds of doubt planted by Adanna's absence and carefully nurtured them. He fueled the embers of resentment amongst those who felt the pact with the dragons was an insult and who questioned the sacrifice of their young girl. "They have taken her," Malachi whispered through the shadows, his voice slithering its way into the hearts of the most vulnerable. "They stole your daughter, your sister, your friend, and used her for their own gain." His words fell on fertile ground. Many had harbored doubts ever since the first dragon landed. Adanna, their hope, their champion, was gone, replaced by a pact they didn't understand. Whispers of betrayal painted her as a willing pawn in the dragon's game, sacrificing her own people for power and safety. Doubts turned to accusations, and fear turned friends into foes. Adanna's family, confused and heartbroken, faced whispers, accusations, and veiled threats. The once harmonious village fractured. The elders, once strong in their support of Adanna, were torn between their faith in her and their fear of the unknown. Hundreds of miles away, in the Dragon Kingdom, Adanna sensed the growing discord through a shared mental link with the Elder Dragon, now a wise and caring mentor, as well as her mother. The link, forged during their first days together, felt faint, like a flickering candle in a strong breeze. Anxiety gnawed at Adanna, but the dragon suited her.
"Distrust travels swiftly on the wind, little one,"
she rumbled, her voice echoing through Adanna's mind.
"Let them not cloud your judgment. They are but shadows cast by fear."
Yet, even the dragon's wisdom couldn't erase the ache in Adanna's heart. Every night, as she gazed at the unfamiliar constellations in the Dragon Kingdom sky, she yearned for a glimpse of Ikenga, for a whisper of news from her home. Unlike anything the dragons had ever seen before, Adanna developed more than a mental bond with the dragon. Her days spent in the Dragon Kingdom awakened the hidden power within her. The dragon soon realized that Adanna, with her defiant spirit and youthful exuberance, was from a long line of ancient warriors who could wield dragon essence. The dragon decided to train Adanna as a way to make her ready for whatever comes next, and help her develop her abilities as a wielder of pure light energy, an even rarer version of her people. While most of Adanna's ancestors needed to draw energy from an amulet or a dragon companion, Adanna could draw on the energy from anything around her, as long as it was pure and true. The presence of the dragon, however, helped enhance her powers, which is why they manifested in the first place. The training intensified. With each passing day, Adanna felt the power surging within her. The dragon, true to her word, was not just a mentor but a friend. They sparred in vast training grounds, the dragon unleashing controlled blasts of fire that Adanna had to learn to deflect, dodge, or absorb. She delved into the ancient libraries of the Dragon Kingdom, dusty tomes filled with forgotten spells and intricate diagrams of energy manipulation. Under the dragon's watchful eye, Adanna learned not just to control her own magic, but to understand the very essence of its flow and how to weave energies together to create shields, projectiles, and healing salves. Two young small dragons with rare genetic mutations that made their scales blue loved playing with Adanna. While the dragons were still infants and could not really speak as the elder dragon did, they understood whatever Adanna said. They soon formed a bond with Adanna and they became friends with her. The two dragons were hatched from one egg, a feat that essentially made them twins. Everything was going well for Adanna in the Dragon Kingdom until one very cold night when the trees swayed in low shimmers and the stars worked overtime. Then came the attack. It began subtly. A tremor in the air, a shadow cast in the wrong direction. Tension crackled through the normal vibrant halls of the Dragon Kingdom. The dragon, her immense body coiled around Adanna in a protective embrace, let out a low growl that reverberated through the bones of every being present. Shadows began to wreath in the air, forming into monstrous creatures, fueled by dark, unfamiliar energy. Adanna fought back, the torrent of purified energy erupting from her fingertips, pushing back the shadows.
They are here.
The dragon rumbled, her voice heavy with sorrow.
Malachi has moved faster than we anticipated.
Moments later, shadows coalesced into monstrous beings, grotesque parodies of dragons with eyes that glowed with a sickly green light. The air crackled with a dark energy that made Adanna's skin crawl. The battle was fierce, a whirlwind of fire, raw energy, and the tortured screams of the shadow creatures. The Dragon Kingdom, a haven until now, became a battleground. Dragons soared through the skies, their fire meeting the dark tendrils of Malachi's magic. Adanna fought with fierce loyalty, fueled by fury at Malachi and the need to protect her new home. The dragon, despite its immense power, was wounded. A long gash marred her side, glowing with the sickly green light, hinting at the corrupting nature of Malachi's magic. As the battle raged, a piercing screech ripped through the air. Just as Adanna pushed back a particular monstrous creature, the ground beneath her trembled. She looked up to see the elder dragon locked in a fierce battle with a towering figure cloaked in darkness. This was no shadow creature. His dark magic pulsed with an unsettling power. Adanna recognized him with a jolt. Malachi, the sorcerer who had threatened Ikenga. Fear and anger roared within her. It was clear now, the discord in the village, the whispers, the unease she felt. It was all Malachi's doing. He had poisoned the minds of our people, twisting the truth into a weapon. With a battle cry fueled by both fury and desperation, Adanna launched herself into the fray, aiming at Malachi. He turned towards her, a cruel smile twisting his lips. A wave of dark energy slammed into her, throwing her back with a sickening thud. As darkness threatened to engulf her vision, a flash of blue caught her eye. One of the young blue dragons, no larger than a horse, dived in front of her, absorbing the brunt of the attack. The young dragon let out a pained shriek, its scales flickering with the same sickly green luminance Adanna had seen on the shadow creatures. A primal scream tore from Adanna's throat, a mix of terror and gratitude. This young dragon had shielded her, sacrificing part of itself to Malachi's dark magic. The elder dragon, seizing the distraction, surged forward with a renewed burst of power. A blinding flash of white light erupted, engulfing Malachi and pushing back the remaining shadow creatures. The light subsided slowly, revealing Malachi kneeling on the ground, his dark cloak tattered and smoking. The green glow around him was fading, replaced by sickly pallor. He looked defeated, his eyes burning with hatred towards Adanna and the elder dragon. But the victory was bittersweet. The young dragon lay still, its once vibrant blue scales tinged with a dull grey. Tears streamed down Adanna's face as she rushed to his side. Placing her hands on its warm body, she desperately tried to channel healing energy, hoping to purge the corrupted magic. In the moment of devastation, Malachi noticed that the dragon had let its guard down and seized the opportunity to launch an attack. The surge of shadow curled around Malachi and molded into a dark, sinister ball before launching toward the elder dragon. The elder dragon didn't see the attack until it was too late. The attack was devastating as the dragon fell to the ground with a ground-shattering thud. The elder dragon lay sprawled on the ground, her once vibrant scales dull and lifeless. Malachi stood over her, his form radiating with dark energy, a sickening grin plastered on his face. Rage, hot and primal, surged through Adanna. This couldn't be the end. not after all they've been through. With a battle cry that echoed through the valley, Adanna unleashed a torrent of magical energy. It was a desperate attack, fueled by grief and fury. But Malachi, expecting a final stand, was prepared. He effortlessly deflected the energy blast, sending it hurtling back towards Adanna. At the last moment, a massive blue form slammed into her, sending them both tumbling to the ground. The second young blue dragon, the genetic twin that Adanna used to play with, shielded her from the blast. Its own scale now a vibrant blue that glowed with intensity. Adanna looked up, her eyes widening in disbelief. The young dragon had absorbed the blast, somehow purifying it and using it to imbue itself with more power. A new understanding dawned on her. These dragons weren't just powerful creatures, they were conduits, capable of manipulating and cleansing magical energy. But their moment of surprise was short-lived. Malachi lunged, his dark energy swirling around him like a storm cloud. Adanna scrambled to her feet, shielding the young dragon with her own body. The young dragon let out a fierce shriek and charged at Malachi, its newfound strength momentarily staggering the sorcerer. This was her chance. Adanna focused on channeling all the knowledge and training from the Dragon Kingdom. The air shimmered around her, crackling with energy. She wove a complex spell, one she had only just learned, a purifying blast capable of severing the dark magic from its source. As Malachi raised his hand to launch a counterattack, Adanna unleashed her spell. A blinding white light engulfed them, pushing back the shadows and Malachi's dark energy. He screamed, a sound that echoed through the valley, the corruption radiating from him, tearing at him from within. The light subsided, leaving Malachi weak and vulnerable. His dark magic has been severed, his hold on shadow creatures broken. They dissolved into wisps of dark smoke, leaving the battlefield silent. Malachi, saying that he had lost the fight, yelled, "This war is not over. I will be back even stronger, and this time, you will not win." Malachi turned into a large cloud of black smoke as he vanished. Adanna ran back to where the hot blue dragon lay to see if she could still revive the young dragon, but it was too late. The elder dragon landed beside her, her voice heavy with sorrow.
It is too late, little one. The young dragon used the last of its energy to shield you. It was a valiant sacrifice.
Adanna felt a sob wrenching through her. Not only had they lost a battle companion, this young dragon's selfless act brought home the true cost of their fight. It was a stark reminder of Malachi's ruthless nature and the danger he posed to both worlds. In the aftermath of the battle, a somber mood settled over the Dragon Kingdom. The young dragon, whom Adanna learned was called Azure, was laid to rest in a Eden clearing, its burial attended by all the dragons who had participated in the fight. The elder dragon, visibly weakened, addressed the gathering. The name of the second twin dragon was Aurora, and her newly acquired blue scales continued to glow even when she was not in battle mode. The twin dragons were now forever separated by death, and the grief of Aurora losing her brother weighed heavily on her heart. While Aurora was able to grow more powerful by absorbing Adanna's blast, she could not get over the fact that she lost her brother, Azure, to Malachi's dark energy blast.
This is a stark reminder of the darkness we face.
The elder dragon rumbled, her voice echoing through the clearing.
We have won the battle, but the war is far from over. Malachi will return, and next time he will be stronger.
Our words were met with a chorus of growls and roars of agreement. The dragons, though saddened by Azure's sacrifice, were resolute in their purpose. Adanna stood among them, the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. She had much to learn, not just about dragon magic, but the intricate political landscape of the Dragon Kingdom itself. The next few days were a blur of strategy meetings and hushed discussions. The elder dragon, recognizing the gravity of the situation, initiated Adanna into the highest council of the Dragon Kingdom. It was a decision not without controversy, some elders questioning a human's place in their inner circle. However, the elder dragon's unwavering trust and Adanna's demonstrated strength swayed most. Adanna learned of the Veil, a hidden gateway connecting the Dragon Kingdom to the human realm. It was a place of immense power, but also of instability, constantly shifting and guarded by powerful magic. They believed accessing this veil might be the key to permanently severing Malachi's connection to dark magic. But it would be a perilous journey.
We need more than just dragon magic, Adanna.
The elder dragon explained, her golden eyes shimmering with ancient knowledge.
We need to understand the source of Malachi's power, to unravel the dark magic he wields.
Adanna understood. They needed to learn more about the human magic tradition, about the ancient rituals and forbidden lore that Malachi might be exploiting. It was a risk delving into the very darkness they were fighting, but one they couldn't avoid. Then came the news that changed everything. A small group of dragons sent on a scouting mission near Ikenga returned with a startling revelation. The village, once unified, was now fractured, torn apart by suspicion and fear. Malachi, it seemed, hadn't stopped at sowing discord. He had infiltrated the village, manipulating a small faction with promises of power and protection against the dragon. Adanna felt a fresh wave of despair. Her home, the very reason she was here, was teetering on the brink of chaos. She knew she had to return, not just to fight Malachi's influence, but to mend the fractured trust between the villagers and the dragons. The elder dragon, despite her weakened state, insisted on accompanying Adanna.
Your village needs your leadership, Adanna.
She rasped, her voice filled with a quiet strength.
But you will not be alone. We stand with you, united against the encroaching darkness.
And so, with a heavy heart, but a renewed determination, Adanna prepared for her return to Ikenga. This time, she wouldn't go as a lone emissary, but as a bridge between two worlds, armed not only with dragon magic, but with a newfound understanding of the human arts. Malachi will return. The end. We hope you enjoyed the story you just watched. Please like our videos and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you more African fictional tales like this one. Thank you.